Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Failing the college entrance examination, I create a divine statue to suppress prison power. Upon waking up, Chu Feng realized that he had traveled to the world of high martial arts invaded by fierce beasts. Due to being injured by a beast tide during a training session, Chu Feng failed the college entrance examination. I thought I wanted to isolate myself from Wu Dao.Unexpectedly, he awakened his supernatural intelligence and created various martial arts at the beginning. The Liuku Immortal Thief devours infinitely and has infinite vitality. The master-level martial arts god statue has the power to control the prison, pushing everything horizontally. One Qi transforms into 3 Qings, body transforms into the past, present, and future body. Against the heavens, Chu Feng became the strongest martial god in the world, invaded by fierce beasts. As Chu Feng raised his hand, ashes flew and smoke extinguished. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The end of the college entrance examination, failure. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What would you do if you had full-level comprehension? Of course, it's about embarking on the path of invincibility, pushing everything horizontally, adding all kinds of great strength, making the world invincible. The human realm. At this time, all areas of the 36 main cities in the 4 directions were plunged into a state of celebration and peace. Because today is an annual event. The most important day after graduating as a fresh warrior. Release the list. All the warriors gathered at their place of enrollment. Waiting with excitement. The upcoming list of college entrance examination scores will be released. I fantasize about how bright my future may be. At the same time, Jiangning City, a 3rd-tier city under the jurisdiction of Xingzhou Prefecture, is located in the main city of Qinglong in the north. Within the first high school, the students of this generation have long gathered here. Under the guidance of teachers and parents. Arranged neatly. Waiting for the person in charge on the high platform to announce their college entrance examination results. I'll tell you all. I was in great shape during the exam. You can definitely get into the top spot. Cut. What is a key university? I heard that some of us in this class have reached the threshold of the top 10 schools. Really? On the vast playground. The student's face was filled with excitement and anticipation. Continuously discussing and arguing. Everyone's face was filled with excitement. But as everyone's gaze swept over a corner of the playground, his expression involuntarily stagnated. Subconsciously shaking one's head. There a teenager sitting in a wheelchair being pushed by someone. He stared calmly at everyone in front of him. Except for what seems to be due to injury. And he appeared a bit pale and outside of the bandages on his body. The young man's face can be described as quite handsome. Even if sitting in a wheelchair. Just look at the appearance. It is also impossible to overlook the existence of teenagers. Unfortunately. If it weren't for that, Chu Feng should also have the opportunity to attend the top 10 schools, right? Who said it's not? Sigh. Listening to the faint sigh in my ear. Chu Feng sitting in a wheelchair. His gaze was inexplicably empty. In this world. The originally peaceful and peaceful life of the human race. With one day 300 years ago. Coming from the extraterrestrial starry sky. The fierce beasts that began to invade the human realm ended. For 300 years. Countless warriors rushed forward one after another, reluctantly defeating the ferocious beasts outside the human realm. And establish a starry sky battlefield outside the territory. To this day, martial arts have become a closely related part of human life. All young people. They are all able to reach higher heights in martial arts. Becoming a stronger warrior and constantly striving. And the reason why Chu Feng was so regretful by others. It's precisely because of before. The top 10 talents of this year's Jiangning City High School. Chu Feng is among the top. Before the college entrance examination. At the last experience. No one expected it. Chu Feng's team. Unfortunately, he was so unlucky to face the sudden outbreak of the beast tide. Chu Feng, who was caught up in the beast tide, unfortunately suffered serious injuries. Even if the support arrives and saves a life. Also because the injury was too severe. I missed the opportunity to participate in the martial arts college entrance examination. Becoming Jiangning for the past 20 years. The only candidate who directly failed the exam. That's Chu Feng, right? What a pity. At a young age. Sigh. On a high platform in the crowd. The school leaders gathered here. Waiting for the announcement of results next. The old principal who hurried back noticed the students on the playground. Everyone is paying attention to Chu Fengji in the corner. Also speaking slowly. Words are full of regret. Yes, principal. Chu Feng's talent can be said to be the best I have ever seen in these years. The so-called top 10 geniuses of this generation. Actually, the vast majority. There's no way to compare with Chu Feng at all. Unfortunately. A beautiful face. It looks around 30 years old. The woman who still exudes charm is also following suit. Delicate red lips. From time to time, I let out a sigh. As Chu Feng's homeroom teacher and also the main subject teacher. If nothing unexpected happens. When the time comes, Chu Feng will be admitted to a good university. The future is definitely limitless. As a teacher, I will also shine on my face. Unfortunately. Because of an accident. The student who makes oneself the most proud in the class. Surprisingly, I couldn't even take the college entrance examination. It's really, he is a good child. I have also heard about Chu Feng before. What a pity. The old principal nodded. I sighed. Turning around, the person in charge of announcing the results began to talk about other matters. Old Chu. You guys come over without saying a word. On the other side. A young man with a strong physique and a simple and honest face. Walked to Chu Feng's side. I want to say hello as usual. Looking at Chu Feng, who was covered in bandages in front of him, he reluctantly withdrew his hand. I just came over to take a look. How did you do this time? Are you confident? Chu Feng looked at his friend in front of him with a look of regret. Reluctantly lift your hand. Hammered it on its chest. Smiling, he spoke up. Of course there is. After all, you taught it hand in hand. My friend's expression of regret faded from his face. Strive to squeeze out a smile. I don't want Chu Feng to feel sorry for him. Chu Feng. I have also heard about the previous incident. Unfortunately. If you can participate this time, our school may have one more person who can be admitted to the top 10 schools. At this point, a tall figure attracted almost all the students present. Stepping over. The soft and charming face attracted nearby students. I couldn't help but bow my head and blush. No problem. The college entrance examination cannot determine everything. Even if you haven't been able to successfully enter a better university. Wait for my injury to recover. You can still make a difference. Looking at the girl in front of me who is hailed as the #1 school flower. Chu Feng's expression. But still calm and indifferent. A confident smile permeated the corners of his mouth. The girl in front of me has a dazzling eye. Well said. Chu Feng. I truly deserve to be my proudest student. The teacher expects you to stand up again. The moment when dragons soar for 9 days. The homeroom teacher also walked over. Praising Chu Feng, he patted his shoulder. Didn't the teacher also say so? The college entrance examination is just a possibility of a turning point in fate. Not all. Relying on oneself. I can still reach the peak of martial arts. At this moment. Although Chu Feng is still sitting in a wheelchair. It looks very weak. But the few people gathered in front of me. But they all feel it. Chu Feng's figure inexplicably grew much taller. Just as a few people were admiring Chu Feng's ability to maintain such a good mindset. Just at this moment. Chu Feng sitting there. Everything in sight. All disappear and disappear. Boom. An inexplicable roar echoed in my mind. At this moment. Chu Feng felt his thinking. As if suddenly sublimated to an incredible level. Chapter 2. Chaos begins. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. A mysterious and extraordinary feeling. Let Chu Feng at this moment. I feel like my gaze is starting to rise infinitely. In an instant. All the knowledge that remains in the mind. Martial arts techniques. Even the number of flowers and plants planted on the streets I usually pass by. They all began to vividly appear in Chu Feng's mind. Unreal and invisible thinking. Start running at high speed. Let Chu Feng have an inexplicable feeling now. In this state. I seem to be. I can understand everything in the world. Is it a golden finger? Mysterious high-speed thinking state. Countless speculations flashed through Chu Feng's mind in an instant. Subsequently. Immediately distinguish. The changes that have happened to oneself now. Perhaps it is because I have actually traveled from another world since childhood. Now it is the same as the narrator described in the novels I have read in my past life. Awakened my own golden finger. Just as Chu Feng's thoughts were circulating. The already infinitely elevated line of sight. It seems to have reached a certain limit. I can clearly feel my body still sitting in a wheelchair. But in Chu Feng's sight. At this moment, oneself. But it feels like being in the boundless universe. Shining Milky Way, mysterious black hole. Everything is going crazy backwards. Until the beginning of heaven and earth. Chu Feng's thinking seemed to be immersed in a mysterious and chaotic atmosphere. Countless spiritual lights and thoughts exploded in Chu Feng's mind. In that chaos. The world opened up with the initial light. Let Chu Feng feel his wisdom. Reached an unprecedented level of terror. No matter what kind of existence it is. It seems that they can all be understood and mastered by Chu Feng now. At the same time. No one on the playground noticed. Sitting in a wheelchair. Close your eyes slightly. Chu Feng seems to be taking a brief rest. But an unprecedented fiery light burst out in his eyes. That light seems to contain everything. Endless wisdom flows through it. It seems like a long time has passed. It seems like it's just a short moment. Chu Feng's gaze returned to normal once again. But in my mind at this moment. Starting from school. The details of martial arts cultivation taught by the teacher. Also, one can acquire their own martial arts skills and techniques. All with the appearance of that mysterious feeling just now. A earth-shattering change has occurred. Pure Yuan Gong. Turning the cloud's hand. Not only that. Everything I just thought of. Even something that is just a preliminary attempt at cultivation. All have reached their peak state. Chu Feng sitting there. Between flipping the palms. It seems like a sea of clouds churning. I didn't even use my true chi. Just relying on actions. It gave birth to a miraculous scene of rising clouds and mist. Without a doubt. Being able to achieve this. At this point, Chu Feng's mastery of the flipping cloud hand had surpassed that of everyone present. Even. It is the existence that has created the martial arts skill of the cloud flipping hand. Is this my golden finger? That moment. My wisdom or insight. Clearly elevated to an unimaginable level. So even in a short moment. It can also allow me to instantly fully grasp various martial arts techniques and techniques that I have learned. Chu Feng stopped his hand movements. My heart is filled with excitement. There are terrifying golden fingers around me. What if you haven't been admitted to a better martial arts school? Martial artist cultivates. Prioritize comprehension. As long as you practice hard yourself. Tomorrow. The so-called top 10 academic palaces. Even Chu Feng's eyes couldn't get in. Sun Chongtong. Excellent overall score in the martial arts examination. Admitted admission quota to the Heavenly Holy Palace. Just being probed by Chu Feng. Can I still enter that mysterious feeling? On a high platform. A sentence shouted by the person in charge. Everyone present couldn't help but remain silent. Then there was constant exclamation. Amidst a crowd of envious gazes. The focal point of public attention. Sun Xiaodong's face was filled with a proud smile. Wave continuously towards the surroundings. Until the person in charge on the high platform became impatient. Only then did I end my boasting. I walked up and received the admission letter from the Heavenly Holy Palace. Congratulations. The Heavenly Holy Palace is one of the strongest schools of our human race. The future of Sun's classmates. Unlimited. The old principal also stood up. Walk over to Sun Xiaotong and extend your hand. Smiling kindly. The principal's words make sense. Sun Xiaotong smiled proudly. There is no intention of reaching out at all. But in the increasingly ugly expression of the old principal. Walk aside. Pick up a microphone on your own. Hello, hello. I said Chu Feng. Why don't you push forward when you're here? Are you afraid of encountering Ben Xiao? Didn't you be very arrogant before? Now Ben Xiao has received the admission notice from the Heavenly Holy Palace. But you can't even stand up. It seems that the gap between you and Ben Xiao will only widen in the future. Arrogant words fell. Students and teachers present. They couldn't help but look at Chu Feng in the corner. Being able to independently master. But this state of enhancing comprehension. It seems to be related to my physical condition. The top priority. We need to recover from the injury first. What surprised everyone was. Faced with such provocation. Chu Feng completely ignored standing there. Sun Xiaodong's expression changed from proud to increasingly ugly. Just calmly thinking about something. Old Chu. Don't pay attention to this useless person. Not once in 3 years has it been your opponent. I'm going crazy now. What's the difference from the wild dogs on the roadside? My friend didn't speak when he saw Chu Feng. Hurriedly spoke up to comfort. Yeah. This kind of person is considered to have entered the Heavenly Holy Palace. There won't be any good prospects either. Chu, don't be discouraged. I believe you can definitely catch up again. The school flower also followed suit. Staring nervously at Chu Feng. Full of worries. The teacher also believes in you. How could my most proud student be knocked down by an injury? The homeroom teacher frowned tightly. He sidestepped to block the varied expressions of gaze casting from beside him. Don't worry. When did you meet? I value people like Sun Xiaotong. So what about the Heavenly Holy Palace? Still that sentence. In the future, I will definitely stand at the peak of martial arts on my own. Watching the anxious and worried expressions of several people. Chu Feng temporarily withdrew his thoughts. With a calm smile, he said. Well said. Wu Dao's first center of gravity. Having such a state of mind. Chu Feng, you will definitely make great achievements in the future. Teacher believes in you. Chu Feng was not affected at all. The homeroom teacher nodded in satisfaction, showing a relieved expression. I also believe that Chu, you can definitely do it. The school flower on the side, looking at Chu Feng's confident expression. Without blinking, the eyes landed on the handsome face. A blush rose subconsciously on the cheeks. Hurriedly said a sentence. Hurry up and turn your back. The heart was beating fiercely. Chapter 3. Inference, Liuku Immortal Thief. You are listening at novel full.audio. Old Chu. Cow seen as cold as an iceberg in ordinary times. A school flower that does not fake colors for everyone. Surprisingly, she appeared so little woman in front of Chu Feng. The friend on the side with a simple and honest expression is absent. Sneak a thumbs up. I started to squeeze my brows and eyes desperately. You guy. Teacher. Can you please lend me some money? I may need to use it recently. Afterwards. I laughed and cursed. Chu Feng looked at the homeroom teacher. I wanted to explain it a bit. After my injury recovers. Go hunting monsters outside the city to repay the money. What Chu Feng didn't expect was. I haven't finished speaking yet. A card has already been stuffed in front of me. Stinky kid. You haven't graduated yet. What's polite to the teacher? I know you need to buy spiritual medicine for cultivation now. You can use this money with peace of mind. Don't worry about it. The homeroom teacher took out her phone. After sending the password to Chu Feng. Smiling, he spoke up. Thank you very much, teacher. Chu Feng smiled and nodded. Preparing to push the wheelchair away. A fair and tender arm stood in front of him. That. Classmate Chu. The beast tide has just passed. The prices of spiritual medicines have all increased. The teacher's money may not be enough. This is the pocket money I usually save up. You can also take it and use it first. Speaking. The school flower also stuffed the card in her hand into Chu Feng's hand. My cheeks are still flushed. Turn around and walk towards the distance. Not giving Chu Feng a chance to refuse at all. Work hard. Now there's not just one teacher. I'm looking forward to the day when you recover. On the faces of the homeroom teacher and friends. An ambiguous smile emerged. Patted Chu Feng's shoulder and joked. Don't make fun of me, teacher. Could you please convey this to Mr. Chen? I will definitely return the money to her as soon as possible. Chu Feng shook his head. The expression on his face was quite helpless. After a few more pleasantries. A few people said goodbye and left the school. Chu Feng, who was pushing his wheelchair, arrived all the way to the Chamber of Commerce located in the busiest area of Jiangning City. What does the customer need to buy? Recently, our Chamber of Commerce has received a lot of elixirs. The waiter saw Chu Feng come in. Hurry forward. Selling to the counter next to the various elixirs. No need. Could you please take me to see if there are any suitable techniques? Chu Feng had no intention of purchasing spiritual medicine. My injury is indeed serious. But for now. Since the golden finger awakens. That's better than buying more expensive elixirs. It's better to buy more wood and water systems. There is a method to restore one's own effectiveness. At that time. In addition to mastering these techniques to the pinnacle level. To heal oneself beyond this. Chu Feng has more. I still want to give it a try. Can you review a lot of techniques? Finally, use your own golden fingers. Create the invincible supernatural powers in memory. If successful. That's what Chu Feng said before. Getting back to the pinnacle of martial arts is not just empty talk. No problem. I'll push you over. I learned that Chu Feng wanted to purchase some martial arts techniques. The waiter also quickly changed direction. Go to the counter. After being recommended by the staff, Chu Feng put a total of nearly 300,000 yuan in the cards given by the teacher and Qin Xiaohua. All have been flashed out. I have purchased a total of 5 magic spells with wood and water attributes. Chu Feng collected the purchased cultivation techniques. I just left the Chamber of Commerce. Prepare to return to where you currently live. When Chu Feng just crossed over. I live in another place with my parents from this lifetime. Unfortunately. Not long after. Chu Feng's parents unfortunately died under the claws of a demon beast outside the city. At that time, Chu Feng was young. He was adopted by his aunt and uncle. One day. I want to kill all the monsters outside Jiangning city. Revenge for my father, mother, and myself. Remembering my childhood. The happy and harmonious appearance of a family. A cold and murderous intent flashed in Chu Feng's eyes. Now my golden finger has awakened. Having unparalleled intelligence. The day of revenge. It won't be too far away. Xiao Feng has returned. Are you exhausted? After returning to the community all the way. Chu Feng, who just got off the elevator. I heard greetings full of care. Lift your head. The woman wearing an apron with a kind face is standing in front of the house. Not tired. I have recovered a lot, auntie. Chu Feng raised a hand. Smiling and gesturing. You child. I insist on going out once. Don't let your uncle take a leave yet. How could pushing a wheelchair on this hot day not be tiring? My aunt's face was full of concern. Walked over and pushed Chu Feng into the room. Complaining verbally. But it is full of worries and heartache. What my aunt said is. I will definitely pay attention in the future. Chu Feng also smiled and spoke up. Are you back? Get ready to eat now. Just now your aunt said she wanted me to pick you up. My uncle sitting on the sofa saw Chu Feng come in. I also quickly got up. Signal his wife to go busy with work. Pushing Chu Feng to the dining table. Brother, wash your hands. My aunt's daughter brought a basin of water over. It was placed next to Chu Feng. Brother. You go over today. How are your grades? We heard that someone has been admitted to the top 10 schools this time. After packing up the other things. My younger brother and sister sat on the side. Curiously asked. I didn't do very well in this exam. Let's work harder later. But both of you are geniuses. I will definitely be able to attend the top 10 schools in the future. Chu Feng shook his head. Touching the little heads of the two little guys moving around. Smiling, he spoke up. It's okay, Xiao Feng. Just one defeat. Our foundation is here. Just work hard afterwards. My uncle quickly comforted me. Yeah, buddy. You are the most amazing genius I have ever heard of. I'm sure I can pass it in the future. My younger brother also raised his little fist. Exclaimed excitedly. Definitely. You two are also. We need to work harder. We cannot waste your talents. Just ask my brother if there's anything you don't understand. Looking at the family members in front of me who care deeply for me. Chu Feng smiled and nodded. I have eaten my meal. I chatted with my aunt and uncle for a while. Chu Feng returned to the room and finally brought out all the martial arts he had bought today. After closing the door. First, I carefully read through the exercises. I have a rough impression in my mind. Subsequently. Just closed my eyes. Proactively entered that mysterious realm. My own gaze is once again infinitely elevated. Countless inspirations and whimsical ideas. following Chu Feng's thoughts. It's starting to burst out. All the words and phrases related to self-repair in the previous cultivation method. They are all broken down bit by bit. Under a sufficient understanding to comprehend everything. Continuous integration. Finally. In Chu Feng's mind. Transformed into an immensely mysterious method. Liuku Immortal Thief. Chapter 4. Recovery from Injury, Immortal Statue in Prison. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Previously. The reason why Chu Feng purchased a large amount of wood and water attribute cultivation techniques. It's because on the playground. When entering a mysterious state. I have already considered my own situation through infinitely enlarged thoughts. Since I can use my own intelligence. If we elevate it to such a terrifying level. Is that an explanation? If there is a certain basic knowledge. You can make something out of nothing by yourself. Directly promote the performance. Originally just a magical technique that existed in fantasy. To verify one's guess. Chu Feng took the initiative to borrow money to purchase effects, repeating many techniques. And after filtering. Being able to meet one's current level is not too high. But it also requires a method of considerable recovery. Nature is not in the memory of a past life. The mysterious method described in an anime is the 6 Treasures Immortal Thief. Liuku Immortal Thieves not only allow ordinary people to directly cultivate. And besides its strong recovery ability. It can also be given to cultivators. Bringing a terrifying digestive ability. For the cultivation of martial artists. There are quite a few benefits. Now. Seeing that one exists in one's own memory. There are only a few described techniques. In today's state of transcendent comprehension, it is constantly evolving. Even though Chu Feng's current state is extremely mysterious. Still, an involuntary surge of excitement arose. Wait until the Liuku Immortal Thief is created out of thin air by oneself. After that day. The techniques that one can cultivate on their own. But it's not just limited to. The martial arts in this world have been determined. At the Liuku Immortal Thief's operation method. Starting with Chu Feng's extraordinary intelligence at this moment. Slowly being continuously improved. Inside the bedroom. Sitting there, Chu Feng's breathing began to involuntarily thicken. The veins bulging on the forehead. A heavy and unbearable pressure. Appearing in the mind. Dong. At first. The abnormality in the body is not yet so obvious. Can follow in Chu Feng's mind. The duration of maintaining a state of extreme intelligence is getting longer and longer. Plus, crazy thinking. Continuously improving the 6 Treasures Immortal Thief. Inside Chu Feng's body. The speed of blood flow. Starting to rise desperately. The heartbeat became increasingly loud. Between the bulging veins. The originally calm expression began to become painful. And that immense mental pressure. Accompanied by excessive physical exertion. Starting to gradually affect. At this moment, Chu Feng was in a state of profound and extraordinary understanding. The mysterious and groundbreaking scene in front of me blurs for a moment. Operate a satisfactory mindset. Instantly slowed down for an instant. Enter this state. Do I need to expend my own physical and mental energy? Until then. Exit from a strange state of weakness. Chu Feng finally realized it clearly. Everywhere in my body. A constantly transmitted feeling of immense weakness. The method of the 6 Treasures Immortal Thief suspended in front of him. It has already condensed to more than half. If this is not successful. Then wait until next time to rest well. Continue to coalesce. Maybe it will start from scratch again. Isn't this wasting a lot of time? More importantly. My current state. if we can't directly deduce success with one breath of enthusiasm. Next. Because of such a huge amount of consumption. A body that is already injured. It will definitely take longer to recover. Next time, we will have a mastery of the martial arts. It will be delayed for a longer time again. It's just a little pain. In order to successfully recover. Standing at the pinnacle of martial arts. What the hell is this? Think of it here. Chu Feng held his breath. Suppressed the increasingly uncomfortable feeling in the body. Enduring intense pain, activate the true qi involved in the body. The true airflow changes. Injuries left behind in the body. Starting to be constantly torn apart. But the heavy feeling in my mind has dissipated quite a bit. With clear thinking. The deduction speed of Liuku Immortal Thief has also returned to its initial state. It's just a little close. Looking at the nearing perfection of the Dharma. Even at this moment, my body is everywhere. Because of the forced extraction of physical strength, the wound is somewhat cracked. The head is also like being weighed down by 1,000 pounds. Waves of swelling and pain kept coming in. But Chu Feng still gritted his teeth. Keep the last glimmer of clarity to the death. Maintaining the current state of exceptional intelligence. Finally. I feel my spiritual consciousness starting to tremble. Roaring desperately at oneself. At the moment when a danger signal is issued. The void method in the mind. Thoroughly coagulate. The golden light instantly shone in the chaotic sea of consciousness. For Chu Feng, who is almost at the limit. Bringing a touch of warmth. Hiss. Next second. Exit from that mysterious state of transcendent comprehension. Chu Feng immediately felt it. More intense pain spread throughout the body. My gaze is also affected by the intense pain in my mind. Becoming blurry. The body feels heavy as if it has been filled with lead. Causing Chu Feng, who was sitting there, to collapse into a chair. Unable to move at all. But in such a painful state. Chu Feng's mouth curved with a hint of smile. Between breathing. The clear and visible true qi of heaven and earth. The Liuku Immortal Thief, who had started to operate, kept inhaling into his abdomen. I just started practicing. The 6 organs have already played an immensely powerful role. Transform the vitality between heaven and earth. Integrating into Chu Feng's body. Those vitality. Just like the rain after a severe drought. Instantly absorbed by the body that has reached its limit. Time slowly passes by. Wait until the sunlight shifts. Chu Feng can now stand up normally. Tear off the bandage wrapped around your body. Those originally ferocious wounds. At this moment, it has already healed rapidly under the replenishment of vitality. There are some small wounds. Even the scars have disappeared. I truly deserve to be the 6 treasures immortal thief. Just absorbing the free vitality between heaven and earth. Surprisingly, it only allowed me to recover so much from my injury. I sighed with emotion. Chu Feng cleaned up his body. I found no one at home when I went out. I directly called and ordered a bunch of food. Xiao Feng. Coming out to eat. Wait until my aunt and they return home. Prepare dinner. When preparing to ask Chu Feng to go out for dinner. In the room. The lunch boxes have already been piled up. At this moment, Chu Feng's eyes flashed with brilliance. Up and down all over. Where else is there any injury left? Powerful qi and blood. Flowing through the meridians. Bringing Chu Feng a sense of power that he had never experienced in a long time. It's not just about injuries. Even my qi and blood cultivation. It's all because it devours a lot of vitality. Stronger than before the injury. Chu Feng recovered from his injury. In my mind, I immediately began to conceive my future cultivation plan. Since golden fingers can help themselves directly deduce various magical techniques from fantasy works. That naturally means taking one step to get it right. Divine Elephant suppresses imprisonment. A domineering and unparalleled person. Even in endless fantasy works. The terrifying technique that was also capable of ranking among the top appeared in Chu Feng's mind. Not bad, as long as one can successfully comprehend the power of the Divine Elephant to control the prison. I can definitely push everything horizontally. Invincible to the world. Destroy all the ferocious beasts outside the domain. Chapter 5. Changes in Supreme Power Now. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Recalling hidden in the depths of memory. The supreme Qigong technique known as the Divine Statue suppressing jail strength. Chu Feng couldn't conceal the excitement in his heart. But besides excitement, in Chu Feng's heart, actually, there are still some concerns. After all, this cultivation method that directly reaches the legendary supreme realm. Cultivation difficulty. It is also one of the top martial arts in the world. According to the description in the original novel, the Divine Elephant Prison Control Force is a Qigong created by the Supreme Master. Advocating that the human body is composed of endless particles, if each particle cultivates the power of a divine image, tearing apart the sky and earth, and roaring down the stars, it is not a problem. And the cultivation methods are also divided into 3 types. Past, present, and future. Just what Chu Feng wants to deduce now. Now there is a change in the supreme power method. There is a realm of 20.2 layers. Each level of cultivation is successful. They can all evolve into amazing supernatural powers. Extremely powerful. Anyway. Even if it's just based on the existing realm. First, perform some of the techniques. It's also enough to surpass any martial arts technique I can master now. For the God Statue's imprisonment power, Chu Feng has considerable confidence. Regardless of the level of cultivation in this world. Compare with the same realm. He will never be the opponent of the God Statue's prison power. Not to mention it. The power of the deity statue in prison is not limited to the so-called power of the gods. But it can directly reach the realm of supreme domination. After thinking about this, Chu Feng's belief in his heart became increasingly firm. I rely on the Liuku Immortal Thief now. I have recovered from my physical injury. Full of vitality and energy. Under full force. Utilize the state of ultimate comprehension. It should be possible to simulate the performance preliminarily. The current supreme power method that meets one's own realm has changed. However, just like deducing the 6 treasures Immortal Thief. If you want to deduce the changes in the current supreme power method, I need to know at least a considerable amount myself. Skills related to power cultivation. Otherwise, without a certain foundation, even if one now possesses an unparalleled and invincible intelligence, it is also impossible to create divine skills out of thin air. Go buy some more martial arts techniques. Chu Feng stood up. Step out of the room. Xiao Feng. Your injury. My aunt's family has already sat at the dining table. Seeing that Chu Feng was not in a wheelchair, I walked out on my own. He also stood up in surprise and asked. It's much better. Thanks to going to school today. The homeroom teacher and classmates helped. Chu Feng sat next to his aunt. Smiling, he spoke up. You can recover so quickly. That's really great. Be sure to speak up if you need anything. Although my uncle is not a warrior, I still have some small savings in my hand. My uncle's face was also filled with joy. Pat your chest. Appearing very atmospheric in appearance. Chu Feng was not surprised by this. Although my uncle and aunt are not formal warriors, But when they were young, they contracted a considerable battlefield in the outer city area of Jiangning. With my previous savings, he has a net worth of tens of millions. Among the ordinary people in Jiangning, they also have a small fortune. Uncle, can you lend me some money? Coincidentally, Chu Feng needs to purchase some power cultivation techniques. I also didn't show any courtesy to my uncle. Speak straightforwardly. Okay. How much do you need, Xiao Feng? I thought Chu Feng wanted to borrow money to buy some spiritual medicines and so on. Used to continue recovering from injuries. My uncle asked as he took out his phone. 1 million. It should be similar. Chu Feng roughly estimated the number of techniques one may need to purchase. Line. If it's not enough, tell my uncle again. As long as Xiao Feng can recover. No matter how much money you spend, it's no problem. My uncle nodded. Directly transferred the money to Chu Feng's card. Then he solemnly instructed. Chu Feng didn't say much thank you. For so many years. Aunties' families care for themselves. It's not just language. You can repay it now. Instead of saying vague words. It's better to successfully cultivate the divine statue's imprisonment power as soon as possible. Improve one's own realm. At that time, there are naturally ways to repay. The family chatted for a while. Wait until after dinner. After Chu Feng said something, he got up and left home. Not long after. Pack up other things. Auntie returned to her room. Still worried about the battlefield. Seeing my uncle sitting at the table with a worried expression on his face. Step forward and help her husband rub his temples. Gently speaking, he asked. Yeah. In recent years, the beast tide has been constantly erupting. The outer city is severely damaged. The business on the battlefield is getting better and better day by day. If it weren't for that, I don't expect to be noticed by those people from the Thunder Martial Arts School either. My uncle sighed. Just recalling the various obstacles encountered on the battlefield recently. It made his heart even heavier. The Thunder Martial Arts School can be considered notorious in the city. I don't have much reason to talk to those people. If it's a big deal, give up the battlefield. The money we have saved over the years. It's enough to raise a few children. Auntie helped to add tea. Continue to speak in comfort. Don't worry. I have a plan in mind. The one who uses more money now is Xiao Feng. But when my sister and brother.In.Law were in our difficult times back then, it also helped a lot. Xiao Feng needs money. Since we can afford it. It's not a big deal. My uncle nodded. A furrowed brow followed his wife's comfort. Gradually stretched out. On the other side. Walking in the brightly lit streets. Chu Feng's goal. But it is a chaotic and dangerous area in the west of the city. That is the original old city area. With the development of Jiangning in recent years. Although the old city area is no different from other places during the day. But at night, it will become a mix of good and bad. A place where 3 streams and 9 religions gather. It is precisely because of these invisible guys gathering. Only then did it form a well-known black market among city residents. Various strange things on the black market. It can be considered as having everything. Strictly controlled martial arts techniques in daily life. To the black market, except for the unknown route. The price will be much cheaper. And Chu Feng, in order to successfully comprehend the power of the divine statue in prison. Nature requires a huge amount of strength to cultivate methods. Compared to chambers of commerce that are much more expensive. The black market has become the best choice. Of course. Except for the unknown origin. There may be issues such as incompleteness in the cultivation method. The black market in front of Chu Feng is already blurred and visible. The biggest risk. It still comes from those who gather here. Warriors who dare not be exposed in front of others. Chaos, danger, unknown. It can be said that the black market at night is completely out of law. Black eats black here. It's just a common occurrence. That's also why items such as black market techniques are much cheaper. Most warriors are still accustomed to it. The reason for choosing the Chamber of Commerce. Chapter 6. Black Market. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Young man. Do you want to take a look at the newly arrived goods? There will definitely be no trouble. As Chu Feng delves deeper into the old city area. Dim street lights. It seems to have separated this place from the outside into two worlds. There is no light in the residential building. Any dim corner. It is possible to come out at any time with a hidden appearance. With a strange accent. A guy who sells his own goods. Looking at the increasingly dark and profound street in front of me. In Chu Feng's heart. But there was no slightest fluctuation. Although the black market is very dangerous and terrifying among outsiders. But Chu Feng had already been to the black market before. Now. My injury has completely recovered. Having the strength of a high-level warrior. Just pay attention. It can completely avoid considerable danger. More importantly. In recent years, the tolerance of the city lord's mansion towards the black market has increased. It's getting lower and lower. Not having enough benefits. These mice in the sewer. He will not easily make reckless moves. And this time come over. Chu Feng only had 1 million on him. For the experts in the black market. It's just a little sweetheart who won't even glance at it. As for the guy who can be moved by 1 million. Its own strength. Facing Chu Feng is seeking his own way of death. After all, I was able to rank among the top in Jiangning High School before. Chu Feng, who has already reached the level of a high-level warrior, is not a vegetarian. Compared to ordinary people. There are too many ways for martial artists to earn money. Think of it here. Chu Feng also had some emotions in his heart. The realm of martial arts in this world. The initial warrior began to cultivate. They mainly focus on exercising muscles and bones. Successful cultivation. The warrior's own strength is enough to shake a 1,000-pound boulder. And after breaking through to the realm of martial arts on a higher level. The true qi in the body expands. With a single vibration of both arms, there is a force of 10,000 pounds. Wait until you step into the master's realm. True qi is enough to spread outside the body. Walk in the air. Between every move and gesture. It can be easily destroyed within 100 zhang. The great master who goes up further condenses true qi and vigorous training. It's just ordinary to collapse mountains and crack the ground. As for even more extraordinary generals, marquises, kings, and so on. It is already enough to demonstrate the power of heaven and earth. Terrifying, incomparable. This is also why Chu Feng felt very confident about coming to the black market. Even a warrior who has just entered the realm of martial arts. Just 1 million. It's also easy to get. Not to mention warriors with higher realms. Money is nothing more than numbers to them. Just as Chu Feng's thoughts were swirling in his heart. As we delve deeper into the black market. More and more people are hiding their true faces. They have gathered all over the street. Seeing a young little guy like Chu Feng appear here. The warriors on the roadside cast playful glances. Some have a wicked taste. And deliberately showing off one's aura. It seems like I want to see Chu Feng, who is too young and excessive in front of me. Showing a frightened expression. To pass the boring time. What these people didn't expect was, Chu Feng has no awareness of being a newcomer at all. There is not a hint of fear. I came to the black market on my own. A relatively large place. In front of stalls that appear relatively formal. It is said to be legitimate. In fact, the rags laid on the ground are slightly larger. There are many seemingly outdated techniques scattered above. Even some techniques are not only incomplete, still stained with catching blood stains. Little boss. Not quite like people who often come to the black market. What would you like to order? Seeing Chu Feng stopping in front of his stall, the vendor threw down his cigarette bag. Speak in a low, hoarse voice. The words fell. Surrounded by vendors setting up stalls and customers walking on the streets. Everyone involuntarily slows down their movements. A glance came over intentionally or unintentionally. Let me take a look. Chu Feng naturally noticed the gaze of the people around him as they looked at the fat sheep. His expression remained calm. Squatting down on the stall to scrutinize. Glancing over. Start by constantly selecting from it. The martial arts and martial arts of this world. It is divided into 9 grades. The 9th grade is the lowest and the 1st grade is the strongest. It is said that there is a legendary divine level cultivation technique above the 1st level cultivation technique. But that kind of level of cultivation, it only exists in legends. It's not something that ordinary warriors can come into contact with. And Chu Feng's target cultivation this time. It is the cheapest 9th grade technique among all the techniques. That is to say, the so-called common goods. Tiger Power Refining Body. San Shan Quan. From those randomly distributed techniques, Chu Feng quickly selected many 9th grade techniques. Some cannot even be considered formal legal decisions. But rather a slightly better technique than regular exercise. Of course. Choose these techniques. It's just because Chu Feng wants to increase his background in strength training. So quantity is the key. As for the efficacy, wait until you push the ultimate power transformation method. Even if it's just the 1st level. It's also enough to surpass all the techniques on this stall. I thought he was a little guy who didn't understand anything. I turned out to be a regular customer. TSK. What kind of things are you picking? Note that Chu Feng constantly selects the goods. The malicious gazes around. A lot disappeared in an instant. Those who can be found in the black market are old fogies with vicious eyes. Chu Feng's actions. It's obvious that you're telling the people around you. I am not a fat sheep. There is no oil or water to extract at all. Of course. It's not without guys with lower cultivation. Still a bit restless. Anshin point. The little one looks young. It can be considered a tough nut for you. I won't make it for this little money. If it catches the attention of the Lord's mansion. Can we see the sun tomorrow? I can't say for sure. Just when those guys were about to stir up. In the dark. There were also gloomy sounds coming out. The words fell. A few guys who can't see the situation clearly. Immediately, the eyes were clear and bright. Hurry to restrain your breath. Leaving silently. Young man. 100,000 copies. Feel free to inquire. It's all at this price. The vendor on the other side saw the cultivation method selected by Chu Feng. He also picked up his cigarette bag cleanly. Lie down again. Open your mouth without any concern. Just take these 10 books. Chu Feng naturally noticed the commotion around him. As expected before. Being of high cultivation. I don't even care about being so petty. At present, the 10 selected martial arts techniques will also be selected. Stacked together. The vendor glanced casually. Pull out a dirty bag from under the rag and throw it to Chu Feng. Then throw a note to Chu Feng. Transfer money. Take something away. After transferring the money, Chu Feng stood up, carrying the technique of filling the bag. A hint of excitement rose in my heart. With these body-refining methods as the foundation, I am capable of using the power of the divine statue to control the prison. Preliminary deduction can be made. At that time. Future cultivation. It will definitely be a smooth journey. Chapter 7. In a blink of an eye. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What is the price of this Qi Yuan grass? Carrying a worn-out bag. Chu Feng walking towards the outside. When passing by a stall. Suddenly stop. Looking at a relatively intact elixir on the stall. 9-grade spiritual medicine. 100,000. The vendor extended a dirty hand. Just prepare to grab the Qi Yuan grass and throw it to Chu Feng. This spiritual medicine has also lost a lot of spiritual energy, hasn't it? Cheap. Be poor. Chu Feng grinned, saying a refusal verbally. But he directly grabbed the Qi Yuan grass in his hand. 80,000. Love or not? Glancing at Chu Feng. The vendor rolled his eyes vaguely. Deal. Transfer the last bit of money on your body. Chu Feng nodded in satisfaction. I will practice on my own later. In case of insufficient physical strength. Even if it's just a missing elixir in hand. Can withstand one. The situation can also be much better. Stuff the Qi Yuan grass into your pocket. Chu Feng, who had achieved his goal, left the black market directly. What kind of junk did you buy? I thought there were fat sheep. Who said it's not? This kind of guy who doesn't have any oil or water will lose his share when he takes action. Watching Chu Feng leave behind. In the dark of the black market. Some people withdrew their constantly scrutinizing gaze. Shaking his head secretly. I don't know if it's a pity that I couldn't wait for the fat sheep. Or simply disdain the stingy Chu Feng. For the black market. The gossip of some strange guys. Chu Feng, who has already left, naturally won't take it to heart. Turn around the dim old city area. After entering the brightly lit main street. Chu Feng chose a shop that specifically rented out cultivation rooms for martial artists. After paying the room fee. Enter it. Use the previously purchased techniques. All of them have been taken out. These 9-level martial arts skills are only beginners. Only then will I choose to cultivate. A person with slightly more talent. Everyone has the opportunity to obtain higher level martial arts. Therefore, although there are 10 books in total, but it only took about an hour. Chu Feng learned these several martial arts techniques. Read all of them once. After silently recalling it in my mind. Next, Chu Feng took the Qi Yuan grass in his mouth. Be prepared to swallow at any time. Preparation for replenishing true Qi. Then immediately close your eyes and actively immerse your thoughts in the sea of consciousness. Entered the realm of unparalleled mystical enlightenment. Based on Chu Feng's current cultivation level as a senior martial artist. This time's deduction. The only goal is to try. Can the statue be imprisoned? The first deduction about the supreme power method is derived. As long as there is a foundation. We will continue the deduction in the future. It will be much easier to get on. At the same time. Just as Chu Feng began to rely on his supreme understanding. Immersed in the purest realm of power perception. When attempting to deduce the introductory technique of the divine image prison suppressing force. Unknown to outsiders. In the dark and secretive hall. The dim light enveloped a colossal creature that seemed to be a throne. Above the throne. A crimson dim light fell. reflecting an eerie figure on the throne. It appears even more terrifying. The eerie figure leaned forward slightly. His whole body was shrouded in darkness. Only on the robe. A ferocious beast adorned with extremely eerie patterns roars up to the sky. If there are external warriors seeing this eerie pattern, you can immediately recognize it. This decoration is the symbol of the infamous beast god religion within the human race. Beast god cult. It is said that it was during the invasion of fierce beasts in the early years. Some people lack the courage to fight to the death. A despicable person who has lost the blood and courage of the human race. Join the fierce beast camp. Using the blood of a ferocious beast to alter one's own bloodline. Turning to the disgusting guy who swung a butcher's knife at his former kin. Jiangning's plan. How is the progress? The eerie figure made a sound. The voice was mixed with an eerie tone resembling that of a wild beast. Report to the sect leader. Last Jiangning beast tide plan. It can be considered a great success. Those people from Jiangning still believe that the beast tide is just an accident. And in the beast tide, Chu Feng, who was on the list of genius slaying, was seriously injured. It's just a pity. Jiangning City Lord's mansion provided timely support. I didn't have time to directly kill Chu Feng. Under the throne. A guy with a hunched body respectfully replied. Not bad, the college entrance examination is over. The human race is celebrating everywhere. Just like the downfall of Jiangning. As a gift from the great beast god. The eerie figure nodded in satisfaction. Wave it out casually. A crimson token. Falling into the hands of a hunched figure. Yes. I will definitely do my best. Destroy Jiangning. The hunched figure appeared unusually excited. Raise the token in your hand high. Like devout believers. Jiangning City. In a bustling estate. Bang. The fist fell. The metal cast pillar immediately made a loud noise. A deep and clear punch mark. Deeply engraved on the pillar. Congratulations to Sun Shaolin for coming to the heavenly holy palace. Qi and blood have broken through again. Look at it this way. You don't have to wait for admission. Sun Shao can directly break through to the martial arts realm. A servant with a respectful expression. Stand aside. Seeing Sun Shaotong withdraw his fist. Quickly flattering and praising. Well said. By the way. Ben Shao just wants to cultivate. Chu Feng, that useless person. What did you do after leaving school? Sun Shaotong's face was full of pride. Then suddenly he looked at the servant beside him. Speak up and ask. After you give the order. I'll immediately send someone to watch over that kid. It's also funny to say. That kid bought some broken techniques. I just went straight home. I ordered a lot of takeout in no time. And then he kept hiding at home. I haven't seen it before. The servant quickly replied. Ha ha ha. I'm afraid this useless person doesn't feel hopeless. Starting to mess around and wait to die, right? Hear the report from my subordinates. Sun Shaotong immediately sneered and spoke up. The young master's words make sense. That kind of poor kid who values fame and reputation. How can we be compared to the young master? The servant treated Sun Shaotong's personality. I am also very familiar with it. Flattery every word. Sun Shaotong's face became increasingly proud after taking the photo. Well said. Chu Feng is such a waste. I really don't deserve to compete with this young master. In the future, Ben Shao will enter the top 10 schools. High above. A useless person like Chu Feng with no background is in front of me. But it's just a mole ant that can be easily pinched to death. A wild laugh. resounded throughout the estate. On the other side, an endless sense of power enveloped Chu Feng. That was originally just an ordinary technique for refining qi, blood, and physical body. In the face of Chu Feng's infinitely improved understanding at this moment, starting to be constantly tempered. It's like a burnt red soldering iron. We are exploring rare and precious metals, quietly transforming. And each sentence is filled with profound legal decisions. It also gradually manifested in Chu Feng's mind. Using qi to attract the divine, using the divine to form an image, lifting hands and throwing feet, the power of a giant elephant, one's body, composed of 840 million tiny particles. Flipping the river and pouring the sea, roaring down the stars, picking the moon and swallowing the sun, in just one thought. Chapter 8. Divine Elephants Surprise the World. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Who? With the beginner's method decision. Starting to continuously complete. Chu Feng's spiritual and physical strength. They are being consumed at an almost insane speed. Derive such a terrifying masterful decision. Even at an entry.level. Even just 1.3. It's also much more expensive than deducing the cost of the Liuku Immortal Thief. Fortunately, before Chu Feng is concerned about this situation, I am already prepared to some extent. Keep breathing in your mouth. The abundant vitality between heaven and earth was immediately swallowed into the stomach. Instantly digested and operated by the Liuku Immortal Thief. Supplemented within the body. With the power of succession. The deduction of the divine elephant's prison power has advanced a lot again. Until a certain moment. That article is floating in my mind. Presenting a dark golden color. The text above is like a mysterious technique of a divine elephant roaring up to the sky. Finally, we have reached a certain stage of complete completion. Boom. The sea trembles with awareness. Almost at the moment of successful deduction of the introductory method. Chu Feng immediately withdrew from the realm of extraordinary intelligence. Even so, a large amount of cold sweat immediately broke out from all over the body. Wet the clothes. Heavy mental pressure. Let Chu Feng involuntarily lower his head at this moment. Breathing heavily. Everything in front of me began to spin desperately. It seems like heaven and earth are all upside down. Intense discomfort. Chu Feng involuntarily lay on the cold floor. Striving to calm down the intense heartbeat and surging sea of consciousness. My level is still too low. You must become stronger. At this point. Feeling discomfort coming from all over the body. In Chu Feng's heart. In addition to the joy of successfully deducing the divine elephant prison suppressing power beginner's technique decision. The rest. It is an infinite desire for one's own strength. Enter a state of ultimate comprehension. Speaking from Chu Feng's personal experience. Maybe in this world. No one can compare themselves in terms of intelligence. But possessing an invincible intellect. My own body. Compared to others, being too weak is a bit excessive. Just deduce the beginner's method decision. If it weren't for having already adjusted the body to a perfect state. The massive consumption of mental and physical energy. With his previously injured weak body. I can't bear it at all. If we have to make an analogy. The golden finger is like the core engine of a spaceship. But it was assembled onto a regular car. Don't say it's fully operational. Even with a slight increase in speed. Cars are prone to direct explosions. But from now on. This situation is about to change. Think of it here. In Chu Feng's heart. But full of infinite passion. Although my body is completely unable to withstand the terrifying effect of the golden finger now. But it's just now. The successful deduction of the divine elephant's prison control force. It's the climbing ladder to reach the pinnacle of martial arts. Wait until I introduce the Divine Elephant prison control power. You can continue to use the golden finger to deduce. And by then, with the blessing of the Divine Elephant's prison power, I will also use the function of the golden finger more perfectly. The physical discomfort has subsided significantly. Chu Feng stood up. An unprecedented burst of confidence in my eyes. Looking back not long ago, I still need to put in all my effort to survive the terrifying beast tide. Looking back now, that ferocious and terrifying beast tide. But he couldn't make any more waves rise in Chu Feng's heart. It doesn't take too long. As long as you enter the Divine Elephant prison control force. After practicing for a period of time. Not to mention the beast tide. Even in a dangerous area surrounded by endless monsters. You can also be directly destroyed between flipping your palms. There are also the so-called top 10 academic palaces. Even for all the young warriors in the 30.6 cities in all directions. Everyone takes pride in entering it. What else can we do? Even if the top 10 schools unite. It is absolutely impossible to take it out. A skill that is comparable to the power of the Divine Elephant in prison. Chu Feng missed the college entrance examination today. Wait until the future. The 10 Great Universities Palace has qualified Chu Feng to let go of his gaze. Not worthy of owning. Next. Just let me feel it. The legendary Divine Elephant has the power to control the prison. What terrifying power do you possess? I took a break for a while. At the same time, my heart is surging. The discomfort on Chu Feng's body also subsided a lot. Although unable to directly enter a state of ultimate comprehension. But the divine image in my mind holds the power of imprisonment. It's all about relying on a golden finger. The most suitable state derived from one's own state. So, even without opening the golden finger. Now Chu Feng. The beginner's method for controlling the prison power of the deity statue. I am already familiar with it in my heart. Knee crossed on the ground. As Chu Feng began to cultivate. All the true qi in the body is directly mobilized. The body made a creaking sound. The meridians that have been repaired by the Liuku Immortal Thieves. Immediately becoming more sturdy and spacious. The sea of Dantian Qi has also regained its cohesion. The capacity has expanded significantly. Although it is rumored that the Divine Elephant suppressing prison power is an unparalleled martial art. It is extremely difficult to cultivate. But after all, this is Chu Feng directly based on his own situation. Derived from the depths of the world. Calculate carefully. It is completely tailor-made and belongs only to Chu Feng's own Divine Elephant prison power. Therefore, even if it's just the beginning of cultivation. The advancement of martial arts. Also advancing at an extremely terrifying speed. In the process of Chu Feng's cultivation. The meridians around the body run wild with true qi. The muscles throughout the body are cast like steel. A sense of terrifying power. Continuously flowing in it. The 840 million tiny particles that exist in fantasy. As true qi continues to infuse into it. Between the operation of infinite particles. Quietly forming an infinite and majestic divine image phantom. The Divine Elephant treads on the infinite cage of hell. The stars around the body are even smaller than particles. The emanating breath. More terrifying than the legendary ancient gods and demons. Dong. Just as the Divine Elephant roars. When infinite power is revealed. 840 million particles that exist only in meditation. One of them quietly emitted a cracking sound. Subsequently. A terrifying aura that emanates from a wild canvas. Sweep away from Chu Feng. Microparticle embryos. Also spreading with the breath. It quietly broke apart. Transformed into an ancient giant elephant roaring with its head raised. Not only that. To exert all one's own strength. Transformed into the power of the divine elephant to hold the prison. Wake me up. The first giant elephant particle awakens. A terrifying force flowed within Chu Feng's body. Regarding this, Chu Feng had no intention of stopping at all. But it's about operating the technique again. All of one's true qi. All condensed towards the 840 million tiny particles in the darkness. Ong. Inject strength into it. Particle by particle shaking. Starting to quietly awaken and transform into a giant elephant. Wait until the last trace of true energy also flows into it. 20 giant elephants stepped on top of the tiny particles. Qi roared. An unparalleled aura of power spread among Chu Feng's limbs and bones. Ong. 20 giant elephant particles awakened within Chu Feng's body. At the same time as successfully introducing the divine elephant into prison. The entire sky over Jiangning. A deafening roar echoed throughout. Subsequently, the sky was filled with stars and their radiance suddenly scattered. The true energy of heaven and earth converges crazily. Interwoven with starlight. Transformed into a divine illusion that obscures the sky and sun. Chapter 9. Jiangning Sensation, Testing. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What's going on? What happened? Look up there. At the moment when the phantom of the divine image appears. Within the scope of Jiangning. Almost everyone suddenly lifted their heads. Look towards the direction above your head. Even for visually impaired and deaf individuals. I also felt the terrifying pressure coming from above. This kind of scene. Did any senior break through in Jiangning? Chen Xiaohua stood by her own bed. Looking at the strange phenomena in the sky, my eyes were filled with surprise. Other students. Everyone also got up one after another. Some ran straight to the street. Take out your own phone. I want to record the scene that happened in front of me. Such a terrifying momentum. There must be a strong cultivator in the city. Go check it immediately. If we can establish a good relationship with this senior. Before going to the heavenly holy palace. I'm sure I can break through to a higher level. Within the estate. The arrogance on Sun Xiaodong's face disappeared. I was stunned for a while. Excitedly, he grabbed the servant and ordered. Young master, rest assured. I will definitely find a way to invite this senior. The servant also quickly agreed. Go investigate immediately. Except for Sun Xiaotong. The Jiangning City Lord's Mansion and the Hidden Beast God Sect Hall have also issued orders one after another. There is such an anomaly in the Jiangning area. Whether it's for the actual Lord in charge. For the upcoming plan of the Beast God cult. It's all a big variable. If you cannot have a detailed understanding of the information of the person who triggers the illusion. The days ahead. Both forces will definitely have difficulty sleeping and eating. How could Jiangning still have such a terrifying senior? On the other side. In the high school classroom dormitory building. Several teachers stood together, watching the illusion of the sky gradually dissipating. There was also a burst of exclamation. Chu Feng's homeroom teacher is also among them. Looking at the earth-shattering vision in the sky. Excitedly picked up the phone. Shoot it. And among the crowds flocking out from all over the city. A strong person with a hidden aura quietly raises their head. Glancing at the phantom of the divine image. Then immediately withdraw your gaze. Who exactly is it? Murmured a sentence to himself. The strong man who lived in seclusion in the city chuckled at himself. Turn around and immerse yourself in the crowd. Just as the entire Jiangning fell into a sensation. Chu Feng in the cultivation room. But it seemed like nothing had happened. Take out the Qi Yuan grass. Throwing it into the import. Liuku Immortal Thief immediately operates. Integrate all the true Qi and vitality contained within it. Transform everything into something that's not left. Integrate into Chu Feng's body. 20 giant elephant particles roared up into the sky. Swallow those vitality into it. Subsequently, transform into purer true Qi along the meridians. It merged into Chu Feng's body. Boom. True Qi infuses the sea of Dantian Qi. Set off a wave. And Chu Feng's body became much more spacious due to the recasting of the Dantian. It also became full. The giant elephant is just emerging. The body has undergone recasting. There have been earth-shattering changes. My current strength. Feeling the difference in my body compared to before. Filled with countless times of true Qi. With the blessing of a giant elephant. The power of terror. Chu Feng stood up. Clench your fist tightly. The rushing Qi and blood lay on the muscles. Just quietly manifest. So the air between Chu Feng's palms was instantly expelled. Let out a loud bang. And this kind of performance is just Chu Feng using his own strength. It did not drive the giant elephant inside. Operate together. If 20 giant elephant particles are simultaneously blessed. Chu Feng had no doubt at all. The rooms around oneself will be fragile like rotten wood. The true Qi in my body now. I'm afraid it's already comparable to a real martial artist. Just getting started. There can be such a terrifying elevation. Truly worthy of being a legendary master-level martial arts technique. Feeling the power filling the body. In Chu Feng's heart. I am also overjoyed. However, speculation about one's own realm. It's just a preliminary estimate. If you want to truly measure your current strength. It also requires specialized instrument testing. Only then can accurate results be obtained. Think of it here. Chu Feng also left the cultivation room directly. Walk towards the community where you live. Along the way. Watching being startled by the strange phenomenon that just appeared. At this moment, everyone is still constantly discussing. Chu Feng walking on the road. But he didn't look askance. It seems that what caused a sensation in Jiangning was not just him. Xiao Feng. Are you feeling better now? That's great. You've been injured, everyone is quite worried. Return to the entrance of the community. The neighbors who were chatting saw Chu Feng returning. They also greeted each other one after another. Thank you very much for your concern. It's already much better. I just went to practice. After chatting with enthusiastic neighbors. Chu Feng crossed the residential building. Arrived at a vacant lot behind the community. There are many preliminary equipment installed here for refining Qi, blood, and physical body. And at the very center. There is an instrument that looks somewhat rudimentary. This instrument is firmly fixed on the ground. The front is inlaid with some special metal. Specially used to strike warriors. After recording the strength of the attack. Make it tangible. To measure the level of power that a warrior can exert. Come near the instrument. Chu Feng stands still. Lift one hand. The posture seems very casual. The giant elephant particles inside the body roar together. The terrifying and unparalleled power flows freely along the meridians with true Qi. Finally, it all converged on Chu Feng's fist peak. Boom. Clench your fist tightly. The body is like a big bow pulled into a full moon. Subsequently. Accompanied by the piercing sound of breaking the wind. The fist, carrying the power of terror, fiercely smashed onto the testing instrument. A loud and violent sound. Starting from the testing instrument. The entire open space and even surrounding residential buildings. They all visibly trembled for an instant. If it weren't for the special metal absorption force on the instrument. Chu Feng punched with all his might. I'm afraid it's enough to directly collapse the nearby building. D. And the screen above the testing instrument. A rapid warning sound also sounded. The numbers on the screen. Start rapidly improving. 10,000, 23,000. It's just a stunned effort. The combat power value directly crosses the warrior level, breaking the 5-digit mark. There is no stagnant trend at all. Chu Feng in front was staring at him with some disbelief. In an instant, it reached over 40,000. Even so, the numbers still haven't stopped beating. 51,000. Wait until the displayed combat power value stops. Even if there is some psychological preparation for the power of the divine elephant's prison power. Now Chu Feng. My heart is still filled with shock. You should know ordinary martial artists. The highest value can only be typed as 9999. A score of 5 digits or more. Only true martial artists can achieve combat power. And now, Chu Feng surprisingly achieved a score of 51,000 directly. This is another warrior. The realm must at least reach that of a high-level martial artist. Only then can it be fired. Chapter 10. Divine Prohibition. Encounter by chance. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Combat power testing. It is a testing method commonly used by warriors nowadays. But the tested values. It cannot represent the true realm of a warrior. Just. Most warriors. There is simply no ability to break through one's own combat limitations. Only then can the combat power value be closely linked to one's own realm. Now, since Chu Feng is able to directly achieve the combat power value that only high-level martial artists can achieve. No matter whether one's own realm is reached or not. If you walk outside, they will all be regarded as advanced martial artists. Just getting started. Awaken 20 insignificant giant elephant particles. The combat power has reached that of a high-level martial artist. If we could awaken all 840 million particles into ancient giants. Even further. What kind of level will my own combat power reach? Gaze at the frozen combat power value above. At this moment, Chu Feng. I am also very happy in my heart. It's just 1 or 2 days. I have a slight advantage over other warriors in the same year before. By now, it has far surpassed everyone. If we continue to deduce the martial arts behind the divine elephant jail suppressing force. If you truly master those evolved divine powers and methods. How powerful I will become when the time comes. Even now Chu Feng. I can't even estimate it correctly. Rumors. The ancient pride of heaven is capable of crossing 9 levels of small realms to kill enemies. Known as the Forbidden Realm. Nowadays, my true cultivation level is no more than that of a novice martial artist. But it is already comparable to the realm of advanced martial artists. One day, I must also be able to step into the legendary Forbidden Realm. Recreate myths and legends. At this moment, Chu Feng's heart was surging. Recalling what I have read. At the time of the ancient legend of Tianjiao, which once amazed heaven and humanity. There is no more worship and admiration from before. Only with gradual confidence. It's just crossing boundaries. As long as we continue to improve the divine elephant prison control force in the future. One day, I will have no more opponents. A moment of surging thoughts after suppressing the excitement in my heart. Standing there, Chu Feng continued to conceive plans for his future cultivation. Gradually regaining consciousness from the joy of fierce combat power. Restore composure. After all, I just started practicing myself. Plus before. The level of skills and other skills that can be touched is too low. Only after the transfer for repair. There is such an immediate effect. If you want to break through to a higher level in the future. Apart from asceticism, Chu Feng still needs a massive amount of resources to support. After all, martial arts like the divine elephant jail's suppressing force do not rely solely on devouring the true qi of the weather. You can make rapid progress. Even with the support of Liuku Immortal Thieves. Think of it here. Chu Feng also turned around and left directly. Walk towards the residential building of my aunt's house. Just walk to the edge of the open space. A group of people with excited smiles on their faces. Young girls filled with youthful energy walked together. Chu Feng glanced at it. Immediately recognized many people in front of you. They are all high school students living in the community and nearby. Calculate it. They are all my own younger brothers and sisters. I met you on weekdays. I will also say hello and so on. I just haven't encountered so many at once like today. Feng Gu. Good evening, Brother Feng. A group of young people saw Chu Feng. I was stunned for a moment. Then everyone quickly spoke up and greeted. Chu Feng smiled slightly. Greeted everyone. I just left now. Feng Gu looks much better. Watching Chu Feng's distant back. A girl in the crowd with a look of admiration in her eyes spoke up. Really, I saw Feng Gu sitting in a wheelchair before. It's really heartbreaking. The other girl also blushed with embarrassment. Always staring at Chu Feng. He didn't speak until his back disappeared. I said you guys are almost done. What's there to say when everyone's gone? It's not that I don't know where Chu Feng's house is. You have the ability to confess in person. Looking at the girls beside me. Reveal a shy face that has never been seen before. In the crowd. A young man also gritted his teeth and spoke out. Cut. Are you jealous? Forget it. Even if Brother Feng is injured, it's not something you can compare to. The words have not yet finished. A young girl immediately put away her shyness and retorted. That's it. When Feng Gu pointed us out before. You are the most diligent in gathering. The other girl also immediately spoke up. A few people, you speak and I speak. The young man who spoke before was ashamed. Lower your head and no longer speak. Okay. Say 2 sentences less. Chu Feng was a genius before. But getting injured at such an important moment. I don't need to say much about what it represents. I failed the college entrance examination. There is no chance of regret. A young man led by. After scanning the crowd. Speak slowly. Immediately make those girls who defend Chu Feng against injustice. Stop the conversation. Chu Feng is indeed a pity. I heard that the eldest and youngest of the Sun family were admitted to the heavenly holy palace. Previously, Chu Feng was on par with the young master of the Sun family. If nothing unexpected happens. Maybe I can also attend the top 10 schools. The future is limitless. Everyone fell silent for a moment. Just keep moving forward. On the way. The boy who finished drinking, everyone continued to speak. The words were full of regret. I did not enter Wu Dao University for further studies. Even if it's a genius. In the end, they will also disappear from the crowd. Chu Feng will find it difficult in the future. Our gap will only widen compared to Chu Feng. You'd better restrain some other thoughts. The other girl also nodded. Looking at the girl who had previously had abnormal emotions, she instructed. This statement came out. Even though the few girls who tried hard to protect Chu Feng just now. There was no opening to refute. The consensus of the human race today. Only by being admitted to Wu Dao University. Only then can I have the opportunity to learn better martial arts techniques. And a higher realm of martial arts. Failed the college entrance examination. It's almost like cutting off all the avenues for a warrior. At least in the cognition of these teenagers. Unable to attend Wu Dao University. It means there is no future at all. Okay. Chu Feng has a lot of luck, that's his own business. We all have a bright future. I have been practicing quite hard lately. The combat power should increase significantly. Just right for you to take a look. The atmosphere is somewhat dull. A boy in the crowd also quickly stood up. Smiling, he spoke to everyone. Say it. Not waiting for others to agree. Run directly towards the testing instrument further away. This guy. If I hadn't jumped off like that. Maybe even stronger than you and me. The young man led by saw this scene. Dumbfounded and smirked. Smiling at the girl next to him. Let's go. Go and see how much progress this guy has made. If there is significant progress. Tonight's late-night snack has been invited. The girl gave a smile. A group of people followed behind happily. Walk towards the testing instrument.